Hey guys, this video is about how to pick up women the right way and to not just blindly follow pickup advice online. Myself included. Question what I say, please. But this is coming from somebody who has 20 plus years experience watching pickup artists and their advice, like on what they say, what to do. Going back to when I first started, a little bit of to go back, like when I was around 20 years old, it was the time of that book came out, The Game, which was Mystery, Neil Strauss, and I followed like I listened to their advice, and at the time it was when you could download things through like LimeWire or whatnot, and I downloaded a bunch of videos on pickup. There was like some types of like seminars and things, and I listened through hours and hours of them when I was kind of hopeless at that time to try to understand the pickup game. And what I came to the conclusion is that it was full of half truths. It didn't give you the real truth, and it didn't just lay things down very simply to the point, which I will attempt to do here. Okay, now this is a very multifaceted subject. Okay, and what I'm attempting to do right now is for you to find a valuable woman, not just to pick up for a one night stand. It's for a woman that you plan to be girlfriends with and to be a potential wife with, right? Because that's the important thing in our culture that I think needs to be taught to young guys or guys who are inexperienced or guys who might not know. Like, because guys are a bit behind the curve when it comes to things like this. Women, all just so short, just to say simply in short, is women. It's a lot easier for them than guys, right? So guys need positive encouragement and positive references and teachings on how to do things correctly. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do here. Okay, so I'm going to first mention the goal of a lot of pickup artists is to sell you something. So they're not going to teach you right off the bat, exactly how to do it very simply, because if they did that, then they couldn't sell you it. They would just tell you it, then you wouldn't need them anymore, right? So what good would that be, right? And I'm not trying to sell you something here. I'm just trying to tell you exactly how it is, okay? And that's what I'm going to tell you. Like, first of all, the flaws of their teachings, but as well, what just down to the nitty gritty of the real approach, how to meet women properly, okay? But I have to address where the most pickup artists how they have it wrong, okay? So they focus on just very superficial tactics, such as tricks or routines to do that are very one-dimensional, okay? And it might work to get the opening, okay? But what are you going to do after that? If you don't have the basis on what to do, it's a multi-step process, then you're shit out of luck, okay? So I'm going to illustrate the process right here. First of all, you need to build some type of attraction for the women. That's step 1 out of 3, okay? So that might be that you look good. That might be that the first things you say looks good. The first things you say is good, and that it shows that you're confident, that you're kind of a leadership qualities, and that initiates a bit of attraction. Maybe you make her smile. That's a key aspect to do right off the bat. So that's the attraction. Okay, that's the key. First step. You have to initiate some type of attraction, and that usually happens pretty quickly. A girl knows within the first 5 seconds if she's attracted to you or not, okay? And it's not like she knows it, she feels it. It's an emotional thing, okay? Second of all, you have to build comfort with her. And comfort is through sharing some types of things about each other, right? And you do that through open-ended questions with her that open her up to tell you things, right? And it's not just your general stock questions like where are you from and this and that, okay? Which very well could be like that could work as well, but things that might get them to make them think that you're different from the rest of the guys because based on the questions that you're asking, they'll open them up. And if you can get them to open up, that's the key, because it's like a sales tactic. First you open them up and then you close them, okay? So initially you open them up through attraction and building comfort, and then you close them through intimacy. That's the key. So the third stage is intimacy. And by doing in that third stage, you have to isolate them somehow. So that might be like if they're with their friends, you can't build intimacy if they're still with their friends. You have to be with her, and it might be as simple as changing a seat in the venue or changing the venue in itself, or if you go on a first date with her to build connection, right where the first date is, but then you might that restaurant might be by a boardwalk by a water, so you might go on a walk by the water after. So you're changing environments to one where you're isolating them, okay, where you can build intimacy. That's key. So, but my whole thesis and my whole point is, through doing so, you have to project yourself as a high value person without looking like you're not trying too hard to do so. Okay, it's just like natural that you are. And a lot of guys might have problems with this because they might not have that confidence that they're a high value person. They might not feel like they look like it, and whatnot. So how you have to do it is you have to project yourself as a confident guy. There's no if and or buts about that. Okay, so figure that out. How to be confident. I made videos in the past how to do that, but you have to at least fake it till you make it, in a way. If you're not initially confident, you have to at least pretend to be. Now, eventually it'll come more natural where you actually will be. Okay, it's just like a numbers game. If you're not getting the first ones, then you just keep doing it, and eventually you will be more and more confident in this type of approach. Okay, and but in doing so, to be a high valuable person, first of all, you have to work on your inner game. I know that's kind of cliche, but it's true. You focus on your inner game of self-improvement, having goal mindsets about, the style of dress, your behavior, it could be your job, right? To grow yourself to the point where you are actually a valuable person, because once you get to that point, it's that much easier. And trust me, there was years when I was not a valuable person, where I didn't have money, I was broke as hell for years, so I couldn't afford, good things or whatever. And now I can afford good things, and it became that much easier. And now I found a girlfriend that just became that much easier. So trust me on that, okay? I know it's hard for a lot of guys. Part of that growth mindset is building social skills and how to interact naturally and not be awkward. That's what it comes down to. Awkward pauses and things like that. Now, some guys are very good at the opening, but they're bad at closing. Some guys, I think this was myself, was very bad at opening with women, creating small talk and bullshit. I wasn't naturally good at that. Okay, but once it came to the point where I actually built a connection, it was like really easy. I closed with. Back in the day when I was kind of still awkward with some pretty high value women. I'm not to brag. It's just the way it is, because I knew how to close. So it's about that. It's like in the business realm, if you're in sales, like, I don't know, some jobs are sales, right? And you have to know how to open the conversation and then close it. And this is something I learned when I was in my sales jobs, okay? And then you translate this exactly parallel metaphor to women. So, first of all, I have to mention that environment matters. If you go to nightclubs and you're looking to meet women at nightclubs, sure, you can, and it's very much possible. But it's not like you're going to meet necessarily valuable women, and a lot of time they're very young, okay, at that age. So you might be young yourself, so you're looking to meet young women, that's fine. But like, you have to look at the fact, like, environment where you're going to meet women who are going to be in the age group you want and who are valuable in themselves. And nightclubs isn't always the best for that. It's not like you can't do it. It's possible, but I'm just gonna put that disclaimer out there. So look at other social gatherings, and part of that is when you have a good friends circle yourself. So build a good friends circle of both men and women. Hopefully hot women. Hopefully you have some hot women friends, and those hot women might be girlfriends of your friends, okay? So you're at parties with hot women, they're going to have hot friends, and then you look like a valuable guy with a good job and you look dressed well, then you're going to meet some hot women, okay? through friends that'll vouch for you. And through so, you have to build, the goal is to build authentic, meaningful connections. Show that you have genuine interest in them through eye contact and through the questions you're asking them, right? And there's like a tone of, what do I call it? Respect. You're just respectful to them. That's so key. A lot of guys, these things don't even cross their mind when they're meeting women. Having mutual respect, so huge. So huge. And in doing so, you're not chasing them. You're just projecting them. Okay, so here's the thing. Here's a metaphor for this that I learned back in the day from pickup artists, actually. If you're like say you go to somebody's house and like a cat walks in the room that you don't know, you never met, and you ran up to the cat, and you're like, hey, there's a kitty, hey, and you're going to pet it, that cat's probably going to be like, gone, right? It's going to run away. It's going to, the posture is going to be like this, the tail is going to fluff up, and it's going to be fucking gone. The same as with women. They'll have a nervous, reflexive response if you're too pushy or too on them, okay? So the opposite is, again, with cats, is say you're just sitting there, and body language, not necessarily looking at the cat, but you're kind of dangling something, or you're like, and you're kind of looking at them, like you're not like on them, right? The cat might walk up to you and like rub against you. Okay, it's a similar kind of thing. I know this is just metaphor, but if you can dangle something, dangling being the things that are that you have that is of value, okay, your personality, anything else. List all the things that you can be of value about you, and then those are the types of things you can dangle in front of them, and then they'll build attraction without being too upfront on them. If that makes sense. Chasing, because there's nothing more pathetic than a guy who shows too much attention on a girl that's not giving him attention at all. Man, it's like, that's just weird. It's game over. Okay? So the attention's got to be mutual, if not more attention than you're giving her. More attention her giving you than you're giving her. If you can create that dynamic, and by doing so, by making her laugh, by the right questions that you ask her, things like that, and the right posture and things, then you can reward her with attention. Don't just give attention out willy-nilly without any type of attention being given yourself, right? And conversely, you can also punish her in a way by, if she's not giving you the right attention, by not giving yourself, which might come to the point in time where you actually just walk away from it. And that might be like, oh, guys, they're meeting a hot girl, and they're like, how can I walk away? Yeah, well, at least give a little space, and then you can come back 20 minutes later, okay? And that's about being selective, and it shows that you have selective, and that's a quality in itself, that you're a high-value man, that you're actually selecting the women that you want to interact with. And ideally, situation that you have other women in front of her that you're interacting with. So, if she's kind of acting weird, and you're like, okay, then you go interact with the next woman, and she's watching. She's like, fuck. Because psychological tactic, people in general are more afraid to lose things than they are to gain things. So if she felt like she's afraid that she's going to lose you, even though that there's no just slight attraction there or whatever, that'll make her potentially try harder. This isn't always the case, but it happens more often than you think. Especially if you just show up to a party with women in general, like if you're with a good group of people, which is attractive women or like high value people, that's gonna like be like huge in your favorite cards, in your stack essentially on this, okay? And then you interact with those women in front of her, of somebody that you're interested in, and it's gonna be like, okay, it's gonna make them think, be curious, right? And that's the key, that again, dangling that string in front of them. So there's many things I can fucking talk about. I'm already 15 minutes into this video, and but again, the key is to project things of value about yourself. I made videos about this in the past, and in doing so, you first initiate attraction. once you've initiated attraction through conversation, specifically questions, and story, you can tell stories about yourself and things that build comfort, right? That even things that you can show yourself that you're a bit vulnerable in some ways. Again, a lot of guys don't want to show themselves vulnerable, but if you can do that appropriately, then they'll feel sympathy, and sympathy plus attraction equals them wanting to suck your dick. Simple as that. Okay, so many times that's happened, where they, and sometimes that sympathy might be the fact that, they were acting a bit of a bitch test. I made videos about this in the past. So at first they were a bit standoffish and a bit of a bitch, but then they actually felt bad the fact they were a bitch and that you're actually kind of hot, and then they're going to be like, oh, jumping on you. Okay, so don't fret if you initially face some resistance or anything. Just like keep grounded, keep solid, keep projecting yourself. If you need to take a step back from her and come forward maybe 20 minutes later or things, that will be okay. But again, the whole goal here is not just to pick up for the fact of just one night stands and things. This is, you're looking for girlfriend material. So in doing so, that you're being selective yourself for in the questions you ask and things that, hey, are you somebody that I'm actually considering, dating for a long-term interest, right? And they'll sense that. So, yeah, that's the key. Somebody who matches your standards and life goals is the key, and that's something that they're looking for. And if they sense that that's something that you're looking for, that is more value that they see you as. Trust me, because they're just sense that you're looking to fuck for the night. Well, maybe some of them want that too, but obviously we're looking a little bit deeper here in this thing. So, final statement: when you work on yourself, the right woman will come to you eventually. In the end, if the woman that you want, like your ideal woman right now is up here, 8 out of 10, but you only are like a 6 out of 10. Well, you got about 2 out of 10 to work up on to get to that point. Okay, so work on yourself, self-development. Go to the gym, do whatever it takes. Learn social skills, up your conversation game, social skills. Maybe your not just fitness, but like your attraction and like what you wear and things, and surround yourself with good people. It'll become that much more easier. So we're focusing on the process, not the end result, is the key. And this will make you demonstrate real value and differentiate you from a lot of other guys, right? Especially when you're a bit older, like 40 years old. If you're very fit, you're like in the 95th percentile. So, work on yourself, all right? And don't just listen to guys who are online who are giving bullshit advice, myself included. Question what I say. There's a lot more to it, okay, than I say. So if you have any questions, leave in the comments, any criticisms or anything, and I'll expand upon it. But I'll leave it there. We're almost 20 minutes in this video. Thank you for watching, guys. Real pickup advice from somebody who's done it himself, who learned the hard way through many years. Trust me, it wasn't easy off the bat. In my 20s, it was not easy at all. Eventually, I learned, though. Thank you for watching, guys. Peace.